Hello and welcome to DLTV. My name is Robert Heron, and joining me, the inventor of Boxee.
Not the inventor, an inventor. But the guy from Boxee on the West Coast.
Dave Mathews, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me back. I appreciate the love you guys show for Boxee at DLTV.
Oh, it just gets better and better. I take it we're going to show off some new Boxee features later in the show, some new stuff to tempt you with for downloading a great piece of free software that I think everyone should check out. Also on this week, we'll take a look at a product called Popcorn Hour. It's a multimedia server that you connect to the internet, and it delivers video to your TV. We'll take a look at how that works. Also, we have a few video-related websites that can help you either find product information or tune up your display. And, of course, a couple viewer questions. Always with the viewer questions. But first, we'll take a look at this week's viewer tech pick. Actually, it's more of a vacation-style tech thing. This came to us courtesy of Andrew from Fort Stewart, Georgia, currently stationed there. And this is the Luray Caverns in Virginia, where Andrew recently took a trip to, and they've basically turned a cavern of stalactites and stalagmites, probably no stalagmites, just the stalactites, into a working organ. Now, I'll just read the copy here, and it says that the stalactites that make up the cavern form musical tones. It sounds similar to organs with deep-sounding bells, with sounds that is highly echoed throughout the cavern. Each note can come from all around you, depending on which stalactite was used for each note. So you're pretty much inside of a living instrument. I have to say that's pretty cool. And according to the description from the Luray Caverns website, they also have this to say. It is basically the world's largest musical instrument. Stalactites covering 3.5 acres of the surrounding caverns produce tones of symphonic quality when electrically tapped by rubber-tipped mallets. This one-of-a-kind instrument was conceived by Mr. Leland W. Sprinkle of Springfield, Virginia, a mathematician and electronics scientist at the Pentagon. Pretty cool. And actually, we have a little video. We'll show that sometime. We'll have the link to the Luray Caverns on the DLTV website. You can take a look at that. And I have to say, if you're in the area, if you're anywhere near Virginia, I think it's worth probably checking that out. That just looks pretty impressive. And I want to thank Andrew from Fort Stewart, Georgia, from sending that to us and sharing it with us. And if you have a tech pick you'd like to share, please email it to us or email us the information at dl.tv@ziffdavis.com. with the word tech pick in the subject line so we can better sort our emails. And I appreciate that. Yeah.
I love that stuff. Whenever I go on vacation, I look for like the world's largest ball of twine or the largest spoon or spatula. That was a lot cooler.
This was probably a spelunking individual who was just like, you know what I could do with this cavern? It's like I could wire this up in just a certain way that I could basically turn it into one big old musical instrument. And that's kind of neat. And again, a little tech, a little nature, and a lot of fun, it sounds like. So, very, very cool. Now, our very own Sam Arbizo, super producer, has been working on a product, or checking out a product, I should say, called Popcorn Hour. It's a network media tank. And I'm very curious to see what this is all about. So, let's take a look.
If you'd like to access content from the internet on your HDTV, whether it be videos, music, podcasts, streams, whatever, then I've got a great little box here that might be able to help you out. It's called the Popcorn Hour A100, and it retails for $179, which is a pretty good bargain considering the amount of options and features that are packed into this little guy. The Popcorn Hour supports full 1080 HD video. It has an HDMI plug to send audio and video straight to your TV. There's also composite video, S-video, component video, SPDIF, and stereo RCA outs. The unit comes without a hard drive, but you can easily install one. Or you can use the USB ports on the front for an external hard drive or a USB memory key. You can gather content from a variety of sources. Using the Ethernet port on the back, you can access other computers through your network, connect to a NAS, use a Samba server, or even access it remotely through the internet via FTP. What most impressed me about the Popcorn Hour was the built-in torrent client. I love torrents. It's an excellent way to share information. All you have to do is find the torrents you want, transfer them from your computer on a USB stick. Then using the built-in torrent client, you can schedule the downloads. That way when you're at work or when you're sleeping, the bandwidth can get fully used, and when you're playing games or surfing the web, you don't have it hogging all the bandwidth. There's also a lot of content that's available streaming from the web. It's just built into the menu here, and you can access a host of podcasts, streaming music and video, and more. If you're interested in downloading video content from the web for your HDTV and you don't want to have a computer always sitting around, I think the Popcorn Hour is an excellent choice for you. It's got tons of features, lots of outputs. The BitTorrent client alone is just fantastic. Has support for numerous audio and video codecs. I mean, this thing plays just about everything. And it's a bargain, really, coming in at $179. Make a great gift for that tech-savvy videophile that you might know, or maybe a great gift for yourself.
Pretty cool stuff. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, but after that, Mr. Dave is going to show us a little bit about the latest in Boxee development and a whole lot more. So please stick around.
I'm Danica Patrick, IndyCar driver and GoDaddy girl. I know a little bit about speed, so take it from me. If you want a fast way to make a name for yourself on the internet, GoDaddy has everything you need. GoDaddy got me online fast, and they can do the same for you. .com names as low as $1.99. When you have something to say it at GoDaddy.com.
Welcome back to DLTV. Guess what, everybody? We have a quick announcement to make. We received an award. Ta-da! Anyway,
So cool.
I'd like to announce that we have just won the 2008 Podcast Awards for Best Mobile Phone Formatted Podcast.
That's awesome. That's like 3GPP codec, or that's cool.
Let me scroll down here.
Right.
Here's the Podcast Awards site, and down yon hither, where are we? There's Best Podcast, Best Mobile Formatted, or Mobile Phone Formatted Podcast, and right there, the winner, baby. I want to thank everyone who voted for that, and apparently we're getting a trophy.
That's so cool.
I'll take a trophy.
Look at that. Whoever thought this internet broadcasting would amount to anything? People are doing it. Who knew?
That's pretty cool. So, Boxee.
Let's talk about it. So we made some huge announcements in the last month. We announced that you could take the Apple TV, which is a $200 box to let you essentially look at iTunes DRM content in your living room. Well, we've added a menu option to Apple TV. And we can look here on the big screen behind us. I love this thing.
The internet's really gone crazy over being able to add Boxee software to the Apple TV product.
Yeah, which it was nice because it's a platform that's already in a lot of people's living rooms. Steve Jobs calls Apple TV just a hobby. I don't know what that means. But in the past, you could only sync it to iTunes, meaning you had to have a computer running in another part of your house with iTunes, content downloaded to iTunes that would then sync to the Apple TV. Well, then they allowed you to rent movies on it directly from the living room, view YouTube content, but still, it was a device that Steve Jobs had the lockdown on, right? He loves the myopic view into his world. So what we've done with Boxee is we've kept all of the Apple TV stuff. So I can go TV shows, my TV shows, and I've got some stuff in here. I've got Heroes and Office, and I just want to show that adding Boxee to the Apple TV does not circumvent it from playing the existing content you have on here. So you can still view all of your DRM movies, anything that music, anything that you bought from the Apple Store still works, as you can see, within the existing interface.
This is Hulu content?
This is, no, actually this is purchase content from the Apple Store, right? So you have to pay $2.99 or $3.99 for the show. But where it gets really exciting is what we've done via Boxee. And Boxee is the best media center you can get. It's absolutely free. And when we jump into it here, I can stream now Hulu, Last.fm, Picasa, Flickr, you name it. Any kind of photos, movies, or music.
Pretty much anything with an RSS link to it?
Anything RSS feeds,
right
any podcasts. Yeah. And it adds a social fabric as well. And all you have to do to install it on your Apple TV is you load what's called a patch stick. You download some free software from Google Code, and you run this little installer program on a USB thumb drive. You then plug this thumb drive into the Apple TV. The back, there's a USB port. You just boot it up once, and it installs the Boxee loader on Apple TV. And now once you have that Boxee loader installed, you can do the updates, and you can continuously update the code right from the Apple TV user interface. So you only have to do the patch stick once. So that means if you have friends or parents that have an Apple TV, you can go there over Thanksgiving, install the patch stick, and then when you're gone, they can hit update through the main menu and it gets all refreshed.
What about updates to the Boxee software itself? Would that require redoing it again?
No, that's what I'm saying. It comes over Ethernet,
okay.
right?
Awesome.
So the patch stick just basically shoves a wedge into Steve Jobs' operating system on the Apple TV. Excellent. And once that wedge is in there, as long as you don't do a system update on the Apple TV software, which could potentially knock out the Boxee code, you can just continually update the Boxee code, which is going to add all the new stuff when we get other codec support. So Boxee's whole goal is to show you this front page of media with what your friends are watching, what they recommend to you. And I can sit here and jump into a clip that I see and immediately play it. So if somebody's watching programming on Hulu or a movie, and that movie's on a different website, or even within my own library, I can jump right into it and watch it just to see what my friends are seeing. And it's not illegal, it's completely legal, because when you're watching Hulu and these websites, Comedy Channel, etc., it's showing you the ads.
As it would be if you were actually on the website watching it directly.
That's right.
Right there. So you're not breaking deals that the content owners have in any
That's
way.
right.
So that's cool.
And then, when you try and watch Hulu or these websites on a web browser, invariably your screensaver comes on or your screen dims and you can't use a remote control, and there's a lot of functionality that you lose by watching television or via web page on a computer. And Boxee enabling it for the Apple TV was just got us so much press, because now you can literally watch Hulu on the couch. Wow, what a novel idea that is, right? TV and the couch.
Is there anything else coming up in terms of maybe other platforms? Or
Yeah, great question. All right, so you're going to see it here first. The Windows version of Boxee.
So it started on Ubuntu or Linux?
Yeah, we started on OS X with Mac. Then we launched on Ubuntu version 7 and version 8, so you can download it for Linux. And then Apple TV was the next hack. And the Windows isn't due out for a little while, but since we're good friends and since you love media, I wanted to drop it here first. So let's go to the VGA input on this.
Oh, I'll take care of that.
And then I'm going to launch here. I'm going to show you, I've got an old compact here. This is a Pentium M 1.5. It has a basic Intel embedded video card. Look, I've been so embarrassed about this computer being a compact that I put an Apple sticker on it.
But that's probably like a 2, 3, 4-year-old notebook?
Yeah, it's 4 or 5 years old. And this
Okay.
was one of those machines for Christmas that Staples had that was $4.99.
There you go.
So this is not, very stout hardware.
state-of-the-art, but
it's got a gig of RAM, and I upgraded the hard drive. I put a 100 gig hard drive in it. So I took one of these $400 machines, and you can see there's the start button down here. So watch this. I'm going to do start, and then Boxee. So it's you will know for sure that we were running Boxee on this. So Boxee has a login. That means all the social stuff works. So you versus your girlfriend versus your parents, brother and sister, everybody has their own recommendations that go into Boxee. But here we are. We're at the Boxee front end. Everything works just as it would on the Apple TV or on Ubuntu or Mac
You
platform.
have to lean back a little bit so we can see that
okay.
side of the
Oh,
interface.
there I am.
It's just like being hidden by... There you go.
Yeah, so here's my movie library. And because we're the ultimate movie player, we also pull in all the metadata around the movies. So I can jump in here and I can view the trailer for this movie. Boxee is a complete connected experience. So if you have a file residing on your storage area network in your house or on the hard drive on your machine itself, it'll actually connect you to internet-based content as well. What's really cool about this is if I ripped the movie Ghostbusters, which I did right before Halloween. I was watching some Halloween movies.
That's probably an epic choice for Halloween.
Epic choice, exactly. And my friends saw that I was watching Ghostbusters. Well, they didn't have it ripped on their hard drives. But Boxee, with the video DNS technology that we employ, we found a copy of Ghostbusters on Hulu. So any of my friends that I recommended Ghostbusters to immediately could watch it for free via the Hulu stream. So no one's ever done this with
Instant
media before.
gratification.
That's right.
That's pretty cool.
I'm so proud of what our guys have created here. So when I jump out of this movie, and actually if you're using a remote control or if you have a Windows Media Center, you can use the same hideous, what I think, Media Center remote compared to the Apple remote.
Hideous,
right?
but they're at least available and relatively ubiquitous.
That's right. So you'll be able to literally sit on the couch, hook an old laptop, or what I'm excited about is these new Atom platforms, right? The low-cost chipset, like low power eEPC. So now instead of having an Apple TV for around $200 retail, you'll be able to buy a little Atom box for hopefully the same price and run on a Windows platform in your living room.
That's really, really cool. Thank you. I want to play with this some more. Now, is there an estimated target date for the Windows drop as far as the Boxee software goes?
Yeah, we're saying before the end of the year.
Okay.
As you know, if you've played with the Apple TV version of Boxee, our code for being alpha is extremely stable, and I'm so proud of the guys for writing code that should be beta. But we're keeping it alpha because we want to keep a closed look on it. Our forums are going crazy with activity. So if you go to forums.boxee.tv, you can play around in there, have some conversations. If you want to go to boxee.tv, you can see a little 2-minute video we put together on what the hell Boxee is, if you really want to get more about it. But essentially, we're trying to be the operating system for the living room, running on as many platforms as possible. So ultimately, I'd love to see Boxee running on the PS3 or running on the Xbox 360, or just as cheap a hardware as you can build or buy for the platform.
Awesome. Just simply awesome. I got to take a quick break. But after that break, we're going to come back and we will show you a few very cool video-related websites that can help you tweak, test, and maybe find some good product information. So please come back.
Good Clean Tech promises to report on the latest eco-friendly developments. That way, we'll always be able to remember moments like these. Visit goodcleantech.com, the independent guide to eco-technology.
Gadget Guide?
Freeze.
Log on to gearlog.com.
Right on.
Gearlog's got tech news and reviews, roller skating robots, iPod toilet paper holders, and hacker-proof passport wallets. Gearlog.com, the gadget log for geeks by geeks.
Can you dig it?
And welcome back to DLTV as I mess with remote controls.
Give me this.
Thank you. I don't know which is what. Anyway, we are going to show you some websites and also test tools and things you can check out that will essentially let you take a look at your TV and test it in new ways. I am trying to pull up our desktop.
It's 5, I think.
Is it 5? Number 5, please.
Number 5.
Please. I need to hit the other.
There's that one.
Yeah.
We have too many remotes here. We have 7 remotes in
There
front
really
of
is.
us
And
here.
now I need to, let me reach under the desk and just manipulate. Oh,
that's the Apple TV.
I know.
Oh, because I have Boxee running on so many platforms now, that's why we get lost
my
here.
switcher is not switching. Oh, technical glitches galore. Wait,
There we
there
go.
it goes.
We're switching. There it is. All right. How many geeks does it take to control a set?
There's a lot going on behind this table. Anywho, let me first jump into arguably the granddaddy of all audio-video related websites is the Audiovisual Sciences Forum, avsforum.com. And here's the, let me scroll up. The front page is right here, and this is essentially a huge forum site. This is where you can dive into very specific categories related to everything from display technologies to very specific areas like maybe Blu-ray players or audio technologies, even calibration, control, and automation, other areas of interest.
I love this website. I've been going to this website for years. I'm sure you have as well.
It is, and I'll be honest with you, it can be intimidating to a lot of folks because for a popular product, if it's being discussed on this site, the thread can easily go into thousands of messages, and it really requires you to do some searching to really narrow down specific information you're looking for. And it's a public website, so you're bound to get some misinformation occasionally as well. So, take everything with a grain of salt. But there are some very, very talented experts in this place where if you do need information about anything from, say, let's go to the HDTV area and see what this pulls up. And then in here we have everything from, hey, look at that, over-the-air reception, technical information, programming, recorders, and that's just that. That's not even in the display section. That's just an HDTV category.
Yeah, 680,000 posts, and people will dive into the rabbit hole. So if you want to go in here, if you know everything about a particular format, just go in here and tout out about how smart you are and watch the flaming wars begin.
Oh, I'm telling you, I go here specifically to check to see, whenever I do a really harsh review of a TV, if that ever happens, I guarantee you there'll be a good number of posts in the forum somewhere with people just,
flaming you.
Flaming me. Anyway, I take the comments and criticisms in stride. Another website that you could want to quickly show off is something called tvblink.com. Now, I'll be honest with you, this site is using copyrighted material to create a DVD-based benchmark, but it does have some cool features. Specifically, I like the things that you can do with LCD. It includes a series of tests based upon real world video samples, as well as test patterns and specific things. But I like to do it. I like to put this into a DVD player to verify certain things about the TV that I'm looking at. Specifically, it has some nice motion patterns, and I can look for unevenness in LCD backlighting systems. It also has some specific patterns to say, hey, look, if you're seeing a problem in this, you might have a setting wrong or things like that. It's just interesting to check out. And like I said, they are using a lot of copyrighted material for this, but at the same point, the tests are pretty directed. There is a downloadable PDF document that you can print out that gives you some guidelines in terms of what to look for as you're rolling through the different tests that are available with that software. And also, if you have problems, maybe you just want to evaluate, hey, do I have a stuck pixel or something like that? And it'd be real convenient to have, say, solid colors across the whole screen or something to that effect. That is also, it's not the best tool in the world, but you know what? It's handy to have around just for those in-case scenarios. And it's free, so there you go. Also, quickly, one of my favorite sites of all time, I have to say, I forget where I even found this a year or so ago, but an online monitor test, which is just if you're using a PC display or anything, you can basically pull up a browser in. They also have downloadable executables too, but let me just pull up, say, the full screen. I'll just do the windowed one. Let me just click on that, and it should. This is all done, I believe, in Flash, and essentially you're given a nice grayscale here to check your monitor's performance. You shouldn't be able to see 0%, but you should see the other steps in between, and if it's not, you can adjust your brightness and contrast settings accordingly. Also, it includes a nice detail about what you're looking at, and it has this pop-down menu at the top to do different settings as well, like, say, I want to look at red tones, or I want to look at, show me a green field. I'm sure I'm just playing with compression here.
This is great because I've had monitors that have had stuck pixels, right? LCDs on my laptops and home monitors. So it's cool to be able to isolate the colors like that just at a click, because you need a whole field of color, right, to do this pixel sticking.
Totally does. And I also find it just useful too for just sometimes you're not sure of what setting is doing what exactly on the monitor. So you can pull up something like this for free on your web browser and then play with the monitor controls to see what's going on.
Have you ever got a pixel that was stuck to not be stuck anymore?
Yeah.
Really?
A couple times.
You just massage it with software like this?
Sometimes just running the TV for a while unsticks it. Sometimes it's permanent. I have one TV in the lab that has at least 3 of them.
Yep.
But you don't notice it until you're like way up close on it. But
the worst part about a stuck pixel is as soon as you recognize that it's stuck, you then see it every time you turn on that computer.
It is. You will know it's there. Nobody else in the room will. So it's one of those type of things. Also, I wanted to point out the folks at THX, their website has some great information as well. They have a home theater setup guide that you can take a look at, and it's also for free. And essentially they have, here's the great THX website. If you scroll down on this page, it has everything from, how to lay out your speaker system, some display setup guidelines, and and some other information as well. I tend to like the speaker layout setup. It kind of gives you a good, I'm not the expert here in terms of all things audio, but I do like to make sure my speakers are pointing in the right directions and that the levels and everything's are just right. So let's see what that pulls up, if anything. Oh, our slow web. And it just provides more information, including setup tips for specific speakers within the environment, which can be quite handy. Also pretty cool. Now, we're going to have all of these links that we've shown you, as well as the applications and stuff. We'll put that information in the show notes for this episode. And, yeah, so maybe a couple of viewer questions.
Let's do that.
All right. Let's see. This one comes to us courtesy of Ishan, and he writes, hey, I'm really starting to think about buying or building a PC to run Boxee for my home media center.
Very smart man.
I don't need a tremendous amount of hard disk drive space. Should I buy or build? I need something small. I do want to do HD content, and I want silence and relative coolness. Gotta have coolness. Also, how do I get a remote to work with this in order to log in and all with Linux? I'm assuming I use Ubuntu. Could you guys give me some ideas of what parts to buy to keep the price sub $400 or sub $300 if possible? Blah, blah, blah. The $100 to $200 range would be fantastic. What processor? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, just basically what part list? Or maybe something like a Mac Mini or a shuttle box.
Yeah. So when I came in the first time, I showed you that shuttle. It was the original shuttles, right? It's not the little baby ones like the Mac Mini, but the little larger shuttles. The problem with the shuttles is the fans are pretty loud in those computers, right? It's you've got a power supply inside of it, you've got a CPU fan, And the things, when they start overheating and doing high-definition content, which they're very capable of, they start making some noise. The good news is I built that box out of recycled hardware, so I had about $200 in it by the time I upgraded it. You only need about 1 gig of RAM for Boxee. 2 gig, of course, makes the menu snappier. You do need an OpenGL 1.4 or 2.0 capable video card. So you need to have not the latest and greatest technology with video card, but at least a few.
Something made in the last 5 years.
Right. And as we've just shown you with my old laptop here, you could even put an old laptop under your TV and run Boxee on that. Now the problem with laptops is by the time you close the screen, you're changing the thermal dynamics. Laptops are designed to be running with the screens open because the keyboard, as you can feel when you type, dissipates a lot of heat. So the ultimate cheapest hardware today is an Apple TV.
Okay.
Going forward, some of these EEE PCs or some of these new micro form factor boxes, I think are going to be really exciting for Boxee. Unfortunately, all this stuff is just coming out right now. All right, so you can go to Newegg and you can find an Atom motherboard processor with the combo for like 60, 70 bucks.
Oh, wow.
But the problem is those don't yet have HDMI output.
Okay.
Right, so the Apple TV is nice too in that it has HDMI out. And I'm using utilities like Handbrake to rip my DVDs that I own in my collection. I encode them in AC3 5.1, and then I run the Apple TV video out through the HDMI connector.
Giving you audio and video on a single
audio,
cable.
video, one cable, DTS, surround. It's
nice.
Brilliant. So Apple TV today is the best, but if you want more control, and it sounds like you do, right? If you're going to build an Ubuntu box, take a look at these Atom small form factor boxes, but make sure there's a DVI out. You don't really want to go VGA now. I think that's just a limitation that Intel has put on that chipset initially. And then you can buy a remote kit for Media Center and run an application called LIRC, which is it's an add-on for remote controls for
link that
for Ubuntu. Yeah. So yeah, it's really simple to do. I think the last episode I was on was 244 or 224, and you can take a look at that shuttle that I built for my project as the cheapest Boxee box out there.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Next question comes to us courtesy of Emil, and he writes, "Hello, DLTV. I've been a loyal fan since episode 1. Thank you. And I recently downloaded the Folding at Home GPU client, and I was wondering if I would have better performance if I had 2 ATI 4870 X2s on Crossfire than a single card. Or 2 of the 4870s. I don't think he means the X2. Maybe he does. I don't know. That'd be some serious firepower. Anyway, I'm currently running one of these amazing cards from Asus, and I would love to better fold for you guys. More power to you guys. Awesome. And, well, I know better than to try to answer this question as far as the latest and greatest graphics cards go. I do love my graphics cards. But our resident expert, Jason Cross from Extreme Tech, had this to say. And he basically said the short answer is no. Currently, the Folding at Home client can only use 1 GPU at a time. The 4870 X2 card you have has 2 GPUs on the same card, but the Folding at Home application is capable of only utilizing 1 of them. By adding a second card, you would have 4 GPUs, but again, Folding at Home lacks multi-GPU support, so no performance gain will be seen for folding, but it is great for gaming. Oh, that would be a sweet card. I want that card, actually. There are multi-GPU clients in the works, but the release date is still unknown. And I want to thank Jason for providing that answer to us. He's the man when it comes to that. And please visit extremetech.com and check out the latest and greatest reviews from those guys as well. Also, I do want to say I want to provide a quick update on our Folding at Home efforts. We talked about this last week. We thought we would break number 7 and become the 7th ranked team in the world over the weekend, and sure enough, that did happen.
All right.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. And I have to say, our team is on a tear right now. I just want to point out that, yes, in fact, we are in 7th place. We went from 8 to 7. We took Team Mac OS 10 and moved them down a notch. Oh, and next up, Alliance Francophone. I just love that team name. They are going down next. And the estimate currently is a couple of weeks, but that estimate has been dropping sharply. Here, let me just click on this to show you our team's performance in terms of our trend line.
Wow,
that's what I like to see right there. That is a steep line in the upward direction, and we are on a tear, folks. We still have the most number of active folders, and a lot of you clearly have switched over using the GPU client. And going into some of the advanced settings and ensuring you're doing the large work units for maximum points. And if you go back to last week's episode as well, we have some great links to some hard OCP related documents that show you how to best configure your client to get the most bang for the buck. And again, it's showing in our results, and you guys are kicking booty, and I appreciate it.
That's cool.
An Alliance Francophone going down. We're on our way to number 5, slowly but surely here, folks. And I want to just want to thank everyone again for doing that, and I want to thank you for dropping by for today's show.
Thanks, man.
For giving us the preview of the Windows client version of Boxee software.
First scene here. And hopefully we'll be running on devices like the Popcorn Hour and Neuros, and Boxee wants to be the operating system of the living room. So
you keep making that interface so delicious looking, and I got to say it's a done deal, I would assume.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. And again, next week we have part 1 of our holiday buying guide. Is it that time of the year already? We're going to talk about Christmas and New Year's, and New Year's is the best. Anyway, we'll have all kinds of great gift ideas for those special tech friends of yours, and or for yourself, of course. You can always buy stuff. And until then, I just want to thank everyone for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.